Newsplus begins right now with me, Wadzanai Sansole, and now we have a couple of updates lined up for you, and these are your headlines. Ministers have been warned to desist from bureaucratic lethargy and inflated egos which hinder progress and pursue results-driven leadership. Also on Newsplus, Cabinet approves 7-year presidential term limit proposal. The government is working to address the nationwide shortage of birth certificate printing paper, which has disrupted services at civil registry offices in recent weeks. Stay tuned to Newsplus for more details. And coming up in sport, Majoni takes fight to Tanzania. It is a good evening. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Let's take a look at our top story. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has warned ministers to desist from bureaucratic lethargy and inflated egos which hinder progress and pursue results-driven leadership. Now, presiding over the first cabinet meeting of the year in Harare, the president said government remains answerable to the people while calling on the ministers to sustain the economic growth between momentum. Ibn Mabunda reports.
In his opening address, President Emmerson Mnangagwa rallied ministers to remain focused on policies and programs that directly improve the livelihoods of Zimbabweans.
Some of the key takeaways, of course, from the president is that all ministries and all the ministers were called upon to ensure that their ministries operate in sync with the country's economic blueprint, the National Development Strategy 2, which will carry Zimbabwe between 2026 and 2030.
Today's meeting signifies the beginning of yet another pivotal stage in our nation's development journey under the new phase of the National Development Strategy 2. The comprehensive framework aims to propel us towards realizing our development aspirations espoused in our Vision 2030.
President Mnangagwa said he will not accept unwarranted rigidity, inflated individualities, and bureaucratic lethargy which frustrates progress. He also set the first quarter of 2026 as the deadline for the finalization of the review of licenses, permits, levies, and fees to reform and enhance the business environment, attract investment, and improve service delivery.
I will not accept unwarranted rigidity, inflated individualities, and misalignment or bureaucratic lethargy that frustrates progress. Government must finalize the review of licenses, permits, levies, and fees during this first quarter of 2026.
The president said going forward, he will only officiate projects of national and strategic importance, while line ministers take full responsibility for projects under their respective portfolios.
Members should not expect me, as president, to do their work for them. Sporadic or ad hoc requests and invitations concerning commissioning events and other related functions will not be accommodated easily.
President Mnangagwa further called on the Fourth Estate to continue upholding the values of responsible journalism, Huno and Ubuntu, while placing the national interest at the center of information dissemination. The first cabinet meeting of the year signals a renewed push by government to consolidate economic stability, fast-track reforms, drive growth under the National Development Strategy 2, and deliver tangible development outcomes for Zimbabweans.
The post-cabinet briefing, the very first of 2026. I'm Ibn Mabunda reporting for ZTN Prime at the Munumtapa building, Zimbabwe's capital.
Now, in other news, Cabinet has approved the proposal for Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026, which proposes a 7-year presidential term limit. And addressing journalists during the first post-Cabinet media briefing, Information Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswede said the bill seeks to enhance political stability and policy continuity. He said the legal reforms will help strengthen governance and enhance political stability.
The objective of this reform is to reduce election-related disruptions, enhance policy continuity, allow sufficient time for the implementation of long-term national projects, and promote political and economic stability. Clause 5 amends Section 114, subsection 3 of the Constitution by substituting High Court with Supreme Court, thereby requiring that a person appointed as Attorney General possesses the qualifications necessary for appointment as a judge of the Supreme Court.
Now, Justice Minister Ziambi said the amendments focus on institutional efficiency, political inclusivity, and long-term national stability.
The Speaker, the Constitution says all our bills, basically we send them to the Speaker, who will then take it for gazetting. If it's an ordinary bill, it's 21 days gazetting before you do the first reading in Parliament. But for a constitutional bill, the Constitution says once you gazette it, you wait for 90 days before you introduce it in Parliament.
Still on our top stories, President Mnangagwa will pardon inmates who have demonstrated good behavior and readiness to be reintegrated into society through the 2026 General Amnesty. Now, Information Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswede said the amnesty will benefit, among others, all female prisoners, juveniles, and all prisoners aged 60. And the presidential clemency will decongest the prison population for a healthy and secure environment for the remaining inmates.
All convicted female prisoners, juveniles, prisoners serving an effective period of 48 months and below, inmates certified terminally ill, for prisoners at open prison, for all prisoners aged 60, prisoners sentenced to life imprisonment provided they've served 20 years.
And still with Cabinet, a total of 30,000 youths from all provinces will be mobilized to participate in the National Youth Day celebrations that are set for Igava Center in Marondera on February 21st. Now, the celebrations seek to enhance employment opportunities and empower young people while establishing a model for youth service and vocational training centers across the country.
We need to focus on youth employment. But how can we focus on employment when we don't have employment? So the solution through the National Development Strategy 2 is to provide our youth with the skills. So the skills that are going to be provided are also going to create entrepreneurs.
We now give you some highlights from today's post-Cabinet media briefing. Government says it is working to address the nationwide shortage of birth certificate printing paper that has disrupted services at civil registry offices in recent weeks. Now, Registrar General Henry Machiri said the shortage is a result of funding delays, which affected payments to suppliers, resulting in depleted stocks across the country. Now, he said Treasury has now released funds for the production of the specialized stationery, with normal service expected to resume soon.
It's a situation which government is seized with, and the Minister of Finance has released some money for this exercise. So as it is, suppliers are busy now working on making this paper so that as soon as possible we'll be back again on track.
Now, Machiri said birth registration remains a fundamental human right, and government is also planning to expand registry sub-offices nationwide under the National Development Strategy 2 program. He added that the current disruption is temporary and normal service delivery is expected to resume once supplies are delivered.
The shortage was caused by funds. The suppliers of the material need to be paid. So all along they were not being paid, and due to shortage of funds. So government, as I said, is seized with the issue. The Ministry of Finance has already released some funds now, and we've since engaged the suppliers who are also working 24 hours a day to make sure that they supply us as soon as possible with the required stationery.
Now, coming up shortly after the break, 1.5 million sanitary pads to tackle period poverty.
The Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion will conduct 2026 nationwide post-budget consultations. The date, place, venue and time for the consultations are as follows. All those who will be putting on military uniforms, signs of ranks, flags or badges, and political party regalia will not have access to the public hearings. The public, interested groups, and organizations are invited to attend these consultations. Written submissions and correspondences are welcome and should be addressed to the Clerk of Parliament. Attention! The Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion, Mount Hampden, P.O. Box CY 298, Causeway, Harare. Submissions can also be made by email through the email address clerk@palzim.gov.zw. The Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven, world-class parliament.
We're kicking your year off in all her glory with more, because we got you.
You get it?
You know that. We got kicks. We got scores. We got action. We got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama. We got fun. We got more for everyone, with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
We got you.
DSTV, we got you all the way.
Thank you very much for staying tuned to Newsplus. Now, 4 AI-powered grain silo depots in Mvurwi, in Mangura, in Macheke and Plumtree, with a combined capacity of 224,000 tons, are expected to be commissioned by mid-year as Zimbabwe moves to modernize its strategic grain reserves and boost national food security.
From the outside, these structures signal a major upgrade in how Zimbabwe stores its grain. Each of the 4 newly upgraded silo depots can hold 56,000 tons. adding up to a total capacity of 224,000 tons coming on stream by mid-year.
We have Burwi, we have Mangura, we have timber mills, which is in Macheke, and Plum Tree, which we expect to be completed within this half.
Beyond storage, the new silos represent a shift to smart grain management with advanced technology built into every stage of operations, saving millions of dollars.
So this is a modern and state-of-the-art post-harvest technology system where we are reducing post-harvest losses in storage by around 7%. And that reduction, ultimately, if you look at the National Strategic Grain Reserve of Zimbabwe, will culminate in savings of more than $32 million United States dollars per annum.
But modern silos alone are not enough.
And augmented to that, we have 22 new trucks that can also facilitate aggregation and collection of this grain. We have 1,804 collection points.
The 4 silo depots located in Mvurgi, Mangura, Macheke and Plum Tree will streamline storage and distribution across the country. The depots demonstrate Zimbabwe's shift towards smart grain management, using artificial intelligence to protect grain and optimize storage.
As Zimbabwe seeks to achieve food security and self-sufficiency, the upgrade of GMB silos remains a critical key driver for ZN Prime in Harare and Isia Shambhala.
Now, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Matabeleland North, Richard Moyo, has handed over cell phones to headmen from across the province. And this is a move aimed at bridging the digital divide and improving communication in rural communities. The cell phones donated by President Emmerson Mnangagwa are intended to enhance connectivity between traditional leaders, government structures and the communities that they serve. Now, Minister Moyo said improved access to communication tools will help headmen relay information more efficiently, to report challenges on the ground and support government programs at village level.
That's why the president gave our headmen, our chiefs, those gadgets. They want to ease communication between the lower structures of traditional leaders in our office and also the office of the president and cabinet. That's why they gave them those gadgets, so that if they happen to have any challenges in their communities, it is easy for them to communicate with us.
Now, headmen from various districts in Matabeleland North welcomed this gesture, saying improved connectivity will strengthen service delivery and also help close the information gap between rural and urban communities.
Sizawusebenzisa ngendlela eqondileyo futhi lamafoni azasincedisa ukubana sikhulumisane labantu kuzigaba zethu, sikhulumisane lama-ofisi ngazo zonke izikhathi.
Sinyango bamafoni la siwanikiweyo ngiyiwo akhathesi azagijimisa information masinya ukwenzela ukuthi ezigabeni zethu sisebenze kuhle labantu sibe kwazi ukwenza izinto ngesikhathi.
Sokulula ukuthi sihambe sinjani silako. Sizaba kukhona esiyabe sikukhalela siloku esikhuluma silaye uMngameli.
Newsplus will be right back.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
This Valentine's month, share the ultimate gift of life. Donate blood and make a profound difference. Visit us in Harare at 53 Mazoe Street, Belgravia, or join us at the second floor, at the Gweri Showgrounds, or in Mashingo, at Haley's and Emsley Close, or at the main post office in Bulawayo, and at our Mutare branch. Give love, give life. Donate blood this February. Donors to receive special surprise tokens of appreciation.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at our business updates. Government is currently working to expedite process around the processed Zimbabwe-China trade agreement, which is expected to address issues around trade barriers, skills transfer and value addition. And these issues came to the fore during private sector consultations held in Bulawayo. Now our correspondent Andile Chuma gives us more.
Industry players have urged the government to address barriers hindering trade between Zimbabwe and China, calling for increased investment in value addition, beneficiation, and skills transfer. The calls were made during the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries private sector consultations in Bulawayo this morning. Participants said non-tariff barriers, such as sanitary and phytosanitary measures, continue to limit access to Chinese markets, particularly for fresh produce exporters.
Zimbabwean businesses, we may view this as an opportunity to address the long-standing non-tariff barriers that continue to constrain our local businesses to effectively export to the Chinese market. I think Mr. Mfundis has already alluded that we have some SPS and some TBTs that we are facing when we are trying to export our products.
The Competition and Tariff Commission highlighted trade imbalances, saying Zimbabwe's exports to China are largely raw and semi-processed.
If you see in terms of the totals there, over the last 6 years, we have exported goods worth 4.56 billion to China, and China is exported goods worth 6.72 billion to Zimbabwe. And then the last column at the bottom in brackets there, that shows our trade balance, which is roughly about 2.16 billion.
Director for Trade in the Ministry of Industry, Senzeni Mateta, said the ongoing negotiations will help improve market access for Zimbabwean products.
To the extent that the outcome should be a shared vision for development for both China and for Zimbabwe. And I think it's a very tall order for us to come up with that strategy, considering where we are right now, considering the status quo.
Government is now in deliberations with the private sector, and the outcomes will inform the final negotiation position as Zimbabwe seeks a trade agreement that promotes industrial growth, value addition, and fair market access. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Zimbabwe has been hailed for turning mining policy into industrial growth faster than any other Southern African country. And that's according to a new Africa Finance Corporation report that was launched at a mining indaba in Cape Town. Now, the report highlights the country's mineral-based industrialization strategy focused on chromite, iron core and lithium, backed by export restrictions and incentives for local processing. This boost is said to raise exports and strengthen industrial links.
Reactivated idle smelting capacity and accelerated downstream processing at a time when other regional producers have experienced a decline in output. For the broader economy, the shift towards beneficiation is expected to improve export earnings and deepen industrial linkages, create jobs and enhance resilience to commodity price volatility.
Economists also highlighted that investor confidence is driven by the speed and consistency of policy, and the surge in smelting investment shows capital is responding positively.
From an investor confidence perspective, again, the most important signal is policy execution speed and coherence. Investors are less deterred by export controls when they are predictable, targeted and paired with enabling infrastructure and pricing incentives. So the surge in new smelting investment demonstrates that the capital responds positively when industrial policy is credible and bankable.
Still on business, stockbrokers have welcomed improved macroeconomic stability, boosting prospects for new listings and capital raising on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. Now, annual inflation fell from 96% in July 2025 to 4.1% in January 2026. Now, the exchange rate premium narrowed to about 20% from over 100%, and growth remains supported by agricultural recovery, strong mining output in gold and lithium, and improving manufacturing. That's it for business. Coming up is sport.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Man, prepare me for a good day.
And God is faithful because He's holy.
Like, wow, this is beautiful. Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
WBF Super Flyweight All-Africa champion Tinashe Majoni is set to go for his non-title fight against Tanzania's Mchanja Johanna in Dar es Salaam on Saturday this week. Now, Majoni expects a stern test against Johanna in the 8-round fight, but expects to prove why he is the continent's best in his weight division.
I think the previous weeks, I checked his record and some of the videos. I don't know much about him, but from what I witnessed from the videos and stuff, I have a way out. Skill yangu kandiyo ndinongoshandisa to fight anyone. So if I see kuti this guy ane maybe weakness yekuti hana speed, I'll just improve on my speed yangu kuti ibite yake or whatsoever. So I can't say what I'm going to do, but just know I have a way out.
Now, the Valentine's Day showdown is part of Majoni's conditioning matches as he ponders his next move. The boxer is willing to defend his belt and is also eyeing opportunities to challenge for the next belt available to him, with gold being the final goal.
Come back, I think we're going to sit down with my team and see what are we going to defend this belt, or maybe we are going for the next belt, because the goal is just to keep going up higher and become a world champion. So this is just the beginning. So I might defend this belt or just leave it and go for another belt. You know, the organizations, they have difference, like the ratings and stuff. So this is an African belt, right? And my goal is to take world boxing belts. So I'm sure we are going to sit down and plan on how to go closer to our goal. I don't change the kind of training that I do just because I'm going for an international fight, or just because I'm going to fight in a foreign country. No, I'll just train the same way, because this is not my first time going to fight in a different country or in a foreign country. So I'm just focused and I'm just training. And as usual, I'm going to fight the same way. I just promised the fireworks, you know.
And that's a wrap on our Newsplus bulletin this Tuesday evening. Thank you very much for staying tuned, for watching us on DSTV channel 294, and for live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. It's a good night from myself and the crew behind the scenes.